All right, what's going on, boys? We are live. Back on the Sports Keg, 2 videos in one day. Haven't been on the channel in 2 years, but the content is flowing. I'll be bringing friends over from RPS. There's nobody I'd rather cap with when it comes to NASCAR than my guy, Coop, Reed Cooper. What's going on, bro?
Not much, man. Just been sitting around all day. I had to burn a couple vacation days, so got done with what I needed to get done, and I've been wanting to talk some NASCAR all day.
Yeah, so we will be live obviously on Sunday morning on Run Pure Bets, and then Sunday early afternoon on Run Pure Sports, breaking that down with JJ over there. But we're going to talk Cup Series, pre-practice and qualifying, and away we go. Michigan, 2 mile track, only other 2 mile track on the circuit is Fontana, and judging from Twitter this week, it was pretty heated about what people thought that the general comps were for this track, right? So I mean, obviously everybody makes the equivalent to Auto Club because it's the same size. But I mean, I don't know. I think that you have Kansas as a comp, a little bit of Vegas. You were telling me about Pocono, which I agree with because at least we know who has speed from a couple weeks ago, or was that last week where we at Pocono?
No, last week was a road
Oh,
course.
road course. That's right. But I think it's a bunch of tracks that you could pull little pieces of. Where are you at in terms of the comp to Michigan this week?
The only thing I think of Auto Club compared to this track is that it fits the mold of what we've seen in the 1.5 mile and larger races within this package. And it's been a dumpster fire. All these races have pretty much been a dumpster fire except for Kansas. Charlotte had 18 cautions. This one, Auto Club in Vegas 12 and Kansas 8. So, you can say, traditionally Michigan isn't a dumpster fire, but, traditionally Las Vegas and Fontana were not dumpster fires either. So,
Right.
but I mean, so much has changed since Auto Club and Vegas. Um, they're much more adapt to the cars. They're more adapt to the wheels and the tires, which were, a big issue in both of those races. So, not to say that they won't have issues. This is NASCAR 2022, and anything can happen. But I don't know if I'm going to use any of them tracks, really, to be quite honest with you. I think what you said, the most important thing to me was speed, speed, and speed. And we know from those tracks who has speed.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. So let's talk about the drivers we like this week. I,
So,
I'll give you six. You throw me six back.
all right. And then I want to start somewhere else, though.
Oh well, do you want to start somewhere else now?
No, I want to hear your six drivers. And
I'm
then we'll start
going.
somewhere else.
I'm going to say Ross Chastain, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Chris Bell, Kyle Larson, and I would normally say Kurt Busch, but Ty Gibbs is in the car. I don't have the faith in him that you do because he hasn't been in these next gen cars very long. But I know that the only way he gets there, like you said, is a bunch of attrition. But the car should be fast for sure. But I would have put Kurt Busch in there. The sixth person, I'm kind of hazy on right now. I want to say Tyler Reddick, maybe, but I'm undecided. Throw me five or six back.
I mean, I think the first 5, I completely disagree with you. And the 6th is, I think could be, like you said, it could be Reddick. It could be Chase Elliott, although I'm not high on him. I know that's hard to say and believe based upon what he's done.
Hold on. You completely disagree with me that you don't like those cars for this week?
No, those first 5, I'm on board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the 6th one I think is, like we could throw a bunch of drivers in there. Is the 6th one, I believe.
Right.
So, I think that's where my head is too. I think there's probably 10 or so drivers who could win this race. Barring some, stupid shit happening.
So where do you want to start?
So we look at these numbers. What's after practice and qualifying? I know you're going to tell me it depends upon who it is, but what's the lowest number you think we get? Do you think it goes down to 5, 5.5?
If Chase Elliott gets the pole, yeah, he'll be 5-1 probably. If Kyle Busch gets the pole, he'll probably be 6 or 6.5. I think if Larson gets the pole, he'll be 5.5-1. Denny,
he's already 6.5. So Busch.
Oh, he's 7-1 at DK.
Yeah, DK, but all the others are. I've seen.
Oh yeah, then maybe then he'll be 5-1. Yeah. I definitely think that the first couple drivers, the numbers will change definitely.
So what about, let's say, Ross Chastain, who's 10? At the best I've seen him.
That's the best I've seen him too, and I really like that number for how fast that car is this week. It's going to go down. The books have to know he's been the fastest car on the track all year. How can they not know? If he gets the pole, 7.5-1, 8-1. Oh yeah, if you could, at the books where it's 10-1, he'll probably be 8.5.
All right, so you're thinking in the 5 to 7 range, depending upon who it is.
Right, for the Toyotas and like Elliott and Larson, yeah.
So let's talk about not qualifying bets, all right? But let's talk about qualifying first, all right? You have another screen in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Go to Jayski, Jayski.
Okay. Jayski, right?
Yeah. And then try to find the race homepage. It should be like in that graphic that they have on the left-hand side.
Next race, Firekeepers Casino. Click that.
No, look to the left of that.
Race
somewhere in there to say race homepage or something like that.
See the full entry list. See complete race
Below
info.
That.
The Michigan race page?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then on the left-hand side, click on qualifying order.
All right.
So let's look at Group A. I think Group A is pretty clear-cut, all right, on who the 5 drivers are, possibly 6. But I don't think we see anybody other than those 6. And I think it's by far the weaker group of the 2. But I don't, unless something stupid happens, Kyle Busch should be in the top and should advance, all right, to the top 10. Chris Bell. Denny. Austin Cindric.
What do you think about Eric Jones?
Well, I think he could be that 6th one.
Okay.
I think Austin Cindric and Byron. Yeah, Byron. Yeah. Like, double check that list real quick. Like, I think Harvick's in there, and there's a bunch of other Fords that are in there.
Yeah, BJ, Ty Dillon, Cody Ware, Balicki, Austin Dillon, Harvick, Haley, Keselowski, Byron Jones, Hamlin, Michael McDowell, Cole Custer, Harrison Burton, Todd Gilliland, and Cindric, and Bell Bush.
Dillon could be a wild card too. I mean, I would probably rate him after Jones and Byron. But I think my point of it is, like, barring something stupid, Denny, Chris, and Kyle are going to be in the top 10 and have a shot, at the pole.
Yep.
So what does that do for your thinking about the number they're at now versus the number that they could be at? Like, I would rather take my shot at Kyle Busch at 7-1 versus 5 or 5.5 to 1.
Well,
I think Denny can be had for 9.5.
Let me tell you. Well, first let's talk about this for a second. I'll round it out back to what you're asking me. But
Okay.
But where are you at with Ford this week? Dead duck?
No. I think that they have a good chance to qualify well. Like, if we go back and we look at the 1.5-mile, 2-mile tracks, Cindric has qualified extremely well. Blaney's been, pretty darn solid. And Logano's been in there every once in a while. I think even Keselowski was in the top 10 in one of them races. So it's what I've been saying all year, though. Like, when they're qualifying, they're in what? Clean air. All right. When they get into the race and where they stink is in dirty air. And if you go back and you look at all the races and you look at even Atlanta, you look at Pocono, like, they haven't been very good at all. Blaney has really been the only one to challenge for the top 10. And then you go back to the All-Star race at Texas. And Blaney won it. Logano finished third and Cindric fourth, or vice versa, somewhere in there. But those three cars were on rails that night. So we know that Texas is really hard to pass at. So did they have all that speed just in that track because of the track position that they had, because nobody could pass them? So
let me ask you a question. Would you say that Pocono is a good track to test what kind of horsepower you really have?
Yeah, that's the only thing. The only thing I look at was who had speed and who didn't.
Okay,
like,
he was
anything else about Pocono is like comparing Fontana to.
I totally agree with that. He was 16th in green flag speed at Pocono a couple weeks ago. It's not that good.
Who's that?
Ryan Blaney.
Yeah. So, like I said, they struggle. If they can stay up front like they did at Texas, they have a shot. And then I heard a podcast, and it makes more sense to what Blaney did last week. Like, he just never pitted, and he just never wanted to give up that track position.
Well,
because he wanted that clean air.
That's the other thing I was rounding out, going back to what you were saying. Here's my worry about us pulling the trigger on a few outrights pre-market, because we're probably going to have the best number going into the race, right? My worry is it could mean nothing if the cars that we need aren't taking 2 tires or no tires at the end, and they're taking 4 tires and they're sinking us like a fucking stone on the last pit stop. That's my only worry.
Right. I mean, we can't control that, man. All we can do is, pick the drivers and hope that we have, the right ones up there at the end. And, that's why I said, this might be a race where we have to end up being on, 3 to 4 drivers, hopefully not 5, because that gets, touchy, but 3 to 4. And, you spoke about the tires, but I heard in another podcast this week, and I need to go back and look at this, is that last year some teams tried to take 2 tires at the end of Michigan, and it didn't work. They got eat up by the 4 tires. Now, was that with 40 laps left? Was that with 15 laps left? 25
Right.
laps left? That's what I need to go back and find out. You know.
What do you think about
So
tires? I asked you when we were talking on Monday. I was like, do you think it will be a total shit show, or do you think that they're going to get the tires under control at some point? Where are you at?
um, well, it's hard to gauge that, because they haven't had these fast tracks that they were having these tire issues on, and then in the earlier part of the year. So one, is it because they haven't had those fast tracks, or two, is it because they are putting more air pressure in, they are getting more comfortable, they do understand how to work the wheel and what it can do for you and can't do for you. So that's still a gray area. The thing is, yeah, we had speed at Pocono, but that was a flat track. That's not going to put as much force on the tire as what it will be when they're in bankings and things to that piece. So but as far as this particular tire goes, I mean, Brett Keselowski did an interview today with Prerace, and he pretty much basically scared the shit out of everybody, because he said that he's treating this race as the wild card of all wild card of races that they've been at so far.
Who?
Because Keselowski. Because of the tire. This is a new tire. It hasn't been used, all right, at any racetrack. Not the rights, not the lefts, not the front, not the back, nothing. So
they tested though, right? Logano shit the bed.
Yeah, then that's what Keselowski said. They tested it, but the test was not a very good test. It was I forget what words he used, but they weren't positive by any means. And to sum it up, he basically said this could be a great race. This could be a race of utter chaos, or it could be something in between. And that's why he's calling it the wild card of all wild cards. And he's like, we only get 15, 20 minutes on the track with him.
Oh, by the way, thank you for reminding me, Corey. My guy Coop last week on the show, we have this Bubba Wallace system play he came up with for top Toyota. Anytime he's 50-1 or 100-1 to be top Toyota, it's an automatic bet it and forget it. And sure enough, me and Diego tailed it for the first time last week because it felt right. And Coop got us home. Bubba Wallace top Toyota at some people got 50, some people got 100. By the way, Coop, Gavin thought he didn't bet it, but he did bet it. He looked at his account and he had way more money in it than he thought. And then he checked and he did bet it. But yeah, we got that home on the live show last week. We got Reddick obviously home on the live show last week, so it was a phenomenal.
So I'm still perturbed at who spun Blaney on that last lap, man.
I know.
We're sitting there. We're sitting there talking about 100, man. That was freaking 250.
You know what though? I think you were the only person that had that. I was on top. I was on top Ford. I wanted that 5-1 bad.
Yeah, I wanted a 250.
But yeah, it was an awesome week. Reddick had a hot rod is right. So let's talk about Chevy for a second.
Are you listening to this qualifying piece and thinking about numbers and stuff? Like I think Kyle Busch, Chris Bell, and Denny Hamlin all have a high probability of their numbers being reduced versus what they're at now.
I don't disagree.
And of those, Busch is my main concern. Because I don't mind playing Kyle Busch at 7-1, man. That's not a bad number, and I think the number's more than fair for him based upon what he's done.
I gotta tell you though, Coop, I do think that Denny and Chris Bell are going to not be far off the mark from him.
Don't disagree with you whatsoever. Don't disagree with you.
I understand what you're saying, though. He's been the best Toyota. Well, wait a minute. The last 8 weeks, the two best cars on the track have been Chase Elliott and Chris Bell. Now, I guess Reddick lately has been hot, but one was a road course, so I don't know.
So let's talk about Group B real quick in that qualifying. Like, I think there's 8 or 9 drivers in there who can make it to the top 5 of that group to make it to the top 10 final.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you in this group. Let's talk about Chevy for a minute. Me and you both expect Chastain to have a hot rod, right? There's no reason not to. I mean, there really is no reason not to. So let's throw him to the side. What do you think about Hendrick now? I've been ringing the Chase Elliott bell for a month now. But I got to tell you, like, I think of all of them, I like Kyle Larson the best this week.
Rank your Hendrick drivers.
I'm going to say Larson, Elliott, Byron, Bowman.
Would you put Byron or Bowman in front of Elliott? Don't look at the overall picture of what they've done this year. Think solely of this race and think solely of what they've done on 1.5 to 2 mile tracks.
Yeah, especially Will Byron. I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. I don't totally disagree.
Like, I think that I'm with you on Larson being number 1 of the 4, but after that, I think you can make arguments for any of the other 3 to be 2nd, 3rd, or 4th.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm at. Yeah, and isn't it surprising that we're on Larson, considering? I mean, the finishes just are not there.
Right. That's my concern with Larson is, exactly what you said. He qualifies well. He runs well at the beginning of the races, unless it's Charlotte, which, I mean, he was absolutely horrible at the beginning and finished well. But, it's like you said, he kind of disappears, once we get, 3/4 of the way through or, 60% through. And that's my concern with Larson. I don't want to bet Larson pre-race at all.
Did you bet anybody for to actually win the poll?
No, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's stay on what we're talking about here.
Okay, so all right, so that's Chevy. What do you expect from Tyler Reddick? I don't know what to expect from him. He's kind of like a wild card. What do you think?
See, my thoughts on him are the same, all right, as what we just said with Larson. He's going to qualify pretty good, I believe. But sometimes he has a tendency to get lost in the race. Obviously, you can say what you want about it, the road courses, but this isn't a road course. You can go back to Fontana, and I mean, he dominated Fontana, until he blew the tire. So again, the inconsistency doesn't leave me to be able to bet him pre-race.
Yeah. What do you think about Eric Jones? He was another car he was the fastest car on the track at Auto Club.
Yeah, I mean, I think, a lot of things have to happen for Eric Jones to be able to win. I think that, one, he needs to race himself up into the top 3 or 4, and then it has to be a restart at the end of the race. I don't see Eric Jones winning this race if it stays green in, let's say, the last 10 to 15, 20 laps.
What do you think about Stewart-Haas, Briscoe, and Harvick this week?
Nothing.
Yeah.
So in that Group B, let's go down that list again. Who do you think could make it to the top 5 in order to make it to the top 10?
All right. So it's Austin Hill, JJ Yaley, Almirola, Noah Gragson. I think Ty Gibbs is going to have a car fast enough to get him there. So
he has to be one of them.
Him. I would say Larson,
2,
Chastain.
3.
Boy. All right. So now, okay, let's talk about Trackhouse. What do you think about Suarez? He's in this group. Do you think he's on a
He
rocket?
would have 4.
So you think he's on a rocket this week too, maybe?
Not necessarily a rocket, but I mean, I think he's gonna have a fast car.
Neither of us are high on Marty ever, really. But
No,
I
Marty
mean,
doesn't qualify well.
yeah. And then you got Elliott and Reddick that you can make an argument
So
for.
that's 5 and 6.
Maybe,
5 and 6.
Ryan Blaney's in that group.
Yeah, I think you can't.
Alex Bowman
right?
is
Right. So now you're talking. You got Reddick, you got Blaney, you got Bowman. You got Logano.
Yeah.
So I think there's like 8 or 9 drivers in there who could make it to the top 5. All right. So if you really look at it, I expect Larson to make it out of there. It's a tough group, but I expect him to make it out of there. I expect Reddick to make it out of there too. But I think after that, it's a toss-up.
Well, and Ross.
No, Ross has not qualified well this year.
So you don't think Ross or Suarez?
See, this is where I was getting with. I wanted to get with you, and this is why I want to talk about this. Like, Ross has not qualified well this year. That's why, like, every week that we talk about it on the DFS show, it's always a conundrum for JJ as to what to do with Ross because he's starting exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, if Ross qualifies, let's say 15th or 16th, do you think we can get him at 1,200 or 1,300?
No.
You don't think so?
No. Coop, he's been the fastest car on the track.
I know, but these books are going to react to that practice and qualifying so much.
Oh man, I don't know. You could be right, but I have a hard time seeing it.
Because see, this is where my thought is. Like, I want to bet Kyle Busch because I know he's going to be in that top 10, and I know he has a great chance of losing that. I don't mind the 7-1 whatsoever. Denny, I'm still, on and off with. He hasn't qualified incredibly well. I think he could be 6th, 7th, 8th. I mean, he could win it. Who knows? But I something tells me like I want to take my shot at Ross, not qualifying in that top 10. Hope I can get him for 12 or 13, and then put my money on him. Because I agree with you, he's going to be fast in the race.
Well, then if that's what you're thinking, then I mean, if he does anything close to what you think he's going to do, at least that you're not going to lose any value. He's not going to go to 9-1 or 8-1. You know what I mean? Right. So exactly. I mean, if you have that take, then you should wait.
Yeah. But that's why I'm more apt to bet Kyle Busch too. And, to be honest with you, Chris Bell, because I think Chris we can get at 16. And,
I think, I mean, if you look at a couple of the comps, like he won the pole at like, I don't know, man. He's qualified so well. It wouldn't. I bet him. My first ever bet, because I always say to you, I don't want to be down a unit ever going into a NASCAR race. But I was like, you know what? He won the pole a couple times at some tracks that maybe you can compare this track to. At 12-1, it's worth a sprinkle.
Exactly. Like if you look at the numbers will tell you it'll either be Chris, Larson, or Cindric. All right. But okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You talked about Kurt Busch earlier.
Oh, boy.
Where did he qualify in these last couple races that have been mile and a half?
I would have to go back and look, but I assume you're going to say good, and Ty Gibbs is what, 50-1 to win the pole?
Like, I think, I mean, if you believe in that car, all right.
How could you not? You have to. That car is going to be fast. It's been good all
If
year.
you believe in that car, you've got to sprinkle some 50-1, man. Because I think that's what it is, isn't it? 50?
Well, DK has 40, but I'm sure if you shop, you can get a better price, maybe. What do you think about Kyle Busch to win the pole? Do you think he's a threat?
Yeah, I mean, he's a threat, but I think he's like Denny Hamlin, man. Like, he could finish anywhere from first to sixth, seventh, or eighth. You know? Like I said, like, if you look at the numbers, those three drivers I mentioned earlier to win the pole are number-wise significantly better than anybody else. I mean, I think Reddick could win the pole, you know? It's one lap, man. You know,
I
who
do.
knows
Yeah,
what's going to happen in 1 lap.
I don't disagree with you. I think he can too at 12-1.
Right. So, anything else you want to talk about with the winner or the qualifying? Like, I think we talked a lot about it. Like, do you have any interest?
I have a hard time seeing anything happening in practice and qualifying that's going to get me and you off the 5 or 6 guys that we like this week.
Because, like, yeah, because, like, I think still, like, if Ford comes out and they do well, like, I'm not going to be crazy on the Ford or anything because, like I said, they've qualified well in these other races. They have a race issue in dirty air. But, you know, like, I don't think there's anybody below 50 or deeper than 50 that you're interested in. You know, Bowman's 25, Bubba's 25, Jones is 25, Suarez is 25. Like, I would rather just wait and see what they're like in the race and take them at 20, you know, versus blowing, you know, a little bit of money on them. Because, like, so if, let's say Ty Gibbs goes out and he qualifies in the top 5, even in the top 10, what does his number go down to?
25-1, maybe 30-1
from 50.
Yeah. What
you don't have any interest in betting that number on that car at all?
But first, do you think the kid could drive to a win, or do you think he needs help?
I think he can drive to the win, and you know why? Because he did it against Kyle Larson in the Xfinity car earlier this year on the road course. If he hadn't done that, maybe not. But he has shown on that road course, all right, what he can do, all right, against a NASCAR Cup driver. And then second, I think what him and Noah Gragson did a couple weeks ago when they were going back and forth for 20 laps was huge too, because, like, it showed, you know, he can race and he can do it in a pressure situation, you know, competitively and fairly, you know, so to say. So, yeah, I think he can. You know, maybe if he hadn't beaten Larson in that road course, and maybe if that race against Gragson didn't happen, you know, it'd be a lot easier to say no. You know, and I know you're going to come back and you're going to say, look, he doesn't have a lot of seat time in this car.
Right? True.
Austin Cindric, how much time did he have in this car when he won the Daytona 500?
What was it? His second race?
Well, they had the Clash, and then they had the Speed Weeks and all that, and then it was the Daytona 500.
Right, right. Yeah, you know? Yeah, I know.
Like
here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. There is a 0% chance that you cash that ticket on the show without me. So if you're betting it, I'm in. Gavin's in, Diego's in. We're all fucking in. We're all in.
But I mean, do you understand my logic and thought behind it?
Yeah, of course. I think the car's going to be great. Yeah, I get it.
It's going to be the best car he's had on the easiest track to drive.
True.
That he's been on of the three.
True.
And look, you know, I'm not saying Kurt Busch is any slacker or anything, and you know, Ty Gibbs can step in and win it. Kurt Busch is great and everything, but like Ty Gibbs is a generational talent.
So if I said give me 3 drivers that you think that the book will react live quicker than the rest. Now, obviously, you're going to say the car is in first, second, and third, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like I think based on what Reddick's done the last couple weeks, his number will be moving fast. If the book sees Kyle Larson as a legitimate threat, his number will be moving super fast. And then I think Kyle Busch also, if he is up there, gets the lead and runs away a little bit, obviously his number is going to move really fast. Those would be the 3 that stick out to me.
I don't think it matters who's up there. The number is going to move fast.
Yeah.
That's how they do it now.
Yeah.
All right. So like Ty Gibbs sits on the pole. All right. You still think that number is 25?
Yeah, probably to start the race. But by if he has the lead at lap like 30 still, then he will be 12-1. Probably.
See, I think it'll go to 20. It would go to 20.
I think that it would. Yeah, you could be right. I don't know.
But anyways, anything else with the win? Like I think where I'm at is Kyle Busch. I want to bet Ty Gibbs. I'm going to take the shot on because I believe in the car.
Who else?
Ross Chastain, I'm going to wait and see because of his qualifying numbers and hope that I can get a better number. And then, you know, I still got to think about Denny.
What about Bell? That 15-1 number, Coop. First of all, the kid qualifies in the top 5 all the time. That 15-1 number is a memory if he does what he has been doing on the comps.
Right, and you're exactly right. What I was getting ready to say was it would probably have to be Chris Bell.
Yep.
Because his number will go down much more than Denny if one of them won the pole. I think both of them could be 7.5 or 7-1. I think they would move Chris Bell's number that much.
7-1, yeah, maybe. I mean, he's been one of the best cars on the track the last couple months. Has a win. Yeah, you could be right.
Right,
you could be right.
So I think there's more to lose with Chris Bell. So, like, I don't want to bet more than 2 drivers pre-race. I'm committed to Kyle Busch. I'm not really counting, you know, the 45 bet with Ty Gibbs.
So you're thinking shooting your shot with Busch and Bell going in and then adjusting live.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm praying. I really want to bet Ross Chastain. All right. But I'm just hoping that he doesn't qualify well.
I got to tell you, I know that he hasn't qualified well, but like, I'm totally fine with 10-1. Like, that is a great number for his chance, I think, to win the race. Because if he does qualify well, he's going to be 8-1, 7.5-1. And then you're going to be like, fuck.
Like, do you think he might qualify well? Are you wanting to take a shot on that 10-1?
I tend to lean towards you because I think you would know a little bit more than me that, you know, maybe he doesn't qualify all that well. But, like, the thing is, I'm totally fine with 10-1. Like, that's a great number for him in this race. So I think
just blame it on me if he ends up being 8-1.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Or if he goes to 13-1, I'll be like, whatever. I got 10-1. I'm cool with it. Like I kind of think like I want to take Ross and Chris Bell and Kyle Busch and then just if I go with that basically until I have to get on somebody live because it doesn't look good for those three drivers. It's just I'm pretty much where you're at. But man, not taking Ross Chastain pre-race or pre-practice and qualifying feels like it could backfire and fuck us
See,
up.
I think you're more scared about Ross Chastain pre-race, pre-qualifying. I'm more scared about Kyle Busch pre-race, pre-qualifying.
Yeah, I get why you're worried because there's less room for error. I mean, the best number we're going to get on him is 7-1. And if Ross qualifies really well, he's probably going to be 8-1 or 7.5 to 1, maybe.
He's going to have to be 7 or 7.5 to 1 because I think if Bell won the poll, that's what they would put him at. So I definitely think that he would be 7 at
I kind of think like if we pull the trigger on Kyle Busch and Chastain and Bell, right? Let's say that's 15-1, 10-1, and 7-1. That means that worst case scenario, you still have 4 units profit to play with if you have to get on somebody live. Plus, I'm sure that you and I will have a couple pre-race bets that will make us money that would help that. But I don't know. I feel like I want to take all 3 of them and just be like, these are my guys. I'm going to roll with them and let's see what we can see. I do worry a little bit about Denny Hamlin, though. I think he's going to be really good.
Right, I do too. I mean, if I were going to bet a 4th driver, it would be Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go 4 deep.
I agree.
Right? I don't want to go 4 deep because I don't want to have more than 5 in this race.
I think the 2 drivers that for Toyota that you can probably count on to qualify well is Chris Bell and Kyle Busch. I expect Denny and Marty to probably be 10th, 11th, 12th, somewhere around there, maybe.
You need to say that. You mean Gibbs, not Toyota.
Yeah, Gibbs. I mean Gibbs. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. All due respect to the other Toyotas out there. Bubba Wallace, 100-1. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So let's look at some other. Action. Any top 5s that you saw that you liked?
Well, I mean, obviously, the first one that there's 2 that come to my mind, and I think you can probably nail them. What do you think?
In terms of top 5, you're going to say Ty Gibbs at 6-1, and Chris Bell at 2-1.
Ding dong.
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement on Bell. I mean, listen, if you take the shot on the outright, I'll probably tail that. I am not tailing the top 5 too. But
no,
but
I'm
not.
I'm not. Those are the only 2 that interested me. And I don't even think I can go plus. I don't even think I can do 200 for Bell.
Yeah, I could see that. Everybody else's numbers doesn't. It's not even worth discussing.
What about top 10s?
Did I tell you the number that I got Gavin on? -110 for Chris Bell to hit the top 10. He got it at
what was his winning number?
What's the winning number for Bell? So top 10s basically start with Bubba -110, Bowman -110, Jones -110, Suarez -110, Cindric +150, Briscoe +180, Dillon +180, Gibbs +180, Busher +350. Nothing sticks out. Not really.
Like if I can see Austin Dillon. Like this is an Austin Dillon type of race where he finishes around the top 10.
What do you think about Bubba this week? He's the one Toyota we haven't talked about.
I think he's going to be good. It wouldn't surprise me if, like, he qualifies well and his numbers reduced and he races well. I think he's going to be a top 10 driver this week. And I think if all things fall right, he can challenge for the win.
Yeah. I mean, we expect good things from Toyota, so I get it. He's minus 110 to finish in the top 10.
I can't bet a minus number. So
I know. All right, weekly specials. Did you pull the trigger on Toyota 1-2, 5.5 to 1?
I did.
Yeah, I did it with you. Is that number still 5.5 to 1? Yeah, it is.
Hold on.
Yep.
It is.
Yep. You could. Yeah, Toyota finished 1-2, 5.5 to 1. Coop's on it. I like it. I'm on it. Going through the other
But
weeklies.
hold on. So, like, I gotta ask you. All right. Like, where we stand right now and what Ford's showing us, we basically written them off. Like, is this another week where we've got to do your Chevy 1-2 plus 275?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really expect much from Ford, really. I even Ryan Blaney, I think maybe top 10s this week, but isn't a threat to win the race. So yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. What's the number on Chevy? Plus 275. Wow.
That's the reason I didn't bet it last time. I think it was 275. I just wanted to be with Toyota.
Yeah, it was plus 3.
You ended up winning both of them.
Yeah, it was plus 330. So it's even worse this week. Plus, wow, they're really high on Chevy, huh? Plus 275 is low.
Well, I mean, it could be Larson and it could be Reddick. You know,
I think at that point, I'd rather just shoot my shot with Toyota.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. What about all Toyota cars finish in the top 20 at even money? So much can go wrong, though, to get you outside the top 20, but that's intriguing.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So much can go wrong and so little to gain from it.
Yeah.
With an even bet.
Hendrick Motorsports car wins the race plus 150. Gibbs car wins the race plus 150. Penske wins the race 5.5 to 1. What do you think about Bubba and Suarez top 5 at 20 to 1? I could see, like, that wouldn't shock me.
Wouldn't shock me. Like, I think if they race this race 20 times, I would think it would happen once, maybe twice. I don't know. But, like, is this the time?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Elliott and Larson top 5 plus 275. I don't really like that. Elliott and Chastain top 5 plus 330. I would rather have Chastain and Larson, but different manufacturer win stage 1, 2 in the race. No. Driver that wins the pole wins the race 7 to 1. That's a terrible bet. You think Keselowski and Jones get top 10 at 7.5 to 1?
I mean, the guy today just said this race could be like the wild card of all wild cards. Like, you know, like that's the thing. Like, I wish Prerace would have interviewed somebody else after that, like a Martin Truex or a Kyle Larson or somebody, and asked him the same question to see what his opinion was. Because now everybody's thoughts is what Keselowski said.
So how much shit do you think has to go wrong in this race for Ford to finish 1-2 at 25 to 1? That number is crazy.
It's crazy. But I mean, if you want to bet it, you need to bet it now, because I think it would go down to 20-1 if, let's say, Cindric and Blaney qualify in the top 10. Like those,
Yeah.
in a clean race, those two drivers and Logano are the only ones that could form that combination.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
there.
Stewart-Haas is just
Kyle
so
Busch.
bad.
Kyle Busch and Denny top 5 at 3-1. I like that, but I don't know if the price is right. Do you think the price is right? That's kind of low.
There was a one last week like that. Well, and it might have been those two drivers, and it was the same price, and we stayed away from it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. It might have even been Pocono. It was. I don't know.
Chastain and Hamlin 3.5-1. Hendrick top 10s 5.5-1. Gibbs top 10 4-1. I just don't think Marty's going to be there.
No, I think he'll probably finish around the top 10.
Yeah,
at best.
Yep. Penske top 10 7.5-1. That's not a bad number. Man, how many times? 7.5-1 for Logano, Blaney, and Cindric to hit the top 10.
If they ran
If
this
we're
race
just going
times,
off
based upon what we've seen so far this year, I don't think they would finish. It would not surprise me if they did not finish in the top 10.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Yeah, no. So MGM, they don't have the team manufacturers. Team wins this week. They just have manufacturers. They have Toyota at 185. What are your thoughts on that?
I told Gavin to bet it at like plus 210, I think.
I think I'm gonna bet that.
Yeah, I don't mind that bet. I don't mind that bet at all. I think it's probably going to happen, barring a nightmare.
Right.
Plus 185 is the best number you see.
Yeah.
That's probably going to change after practice and qualifying.
Right, I could see it 130, 140. If everything goes right for them.
It's plus 150 on DK right now. So I mean,
I was basing off the 185 number.
Yeah, I don't mind that number. Let's talk about top manufacturer. How do you not bet Ross Chastain a 5-1 to be the top Chevy? Can you answer me? How do you not? Tell me how you don't.
How do we make this group win? Ross is part of it.
Reddick and Larson.
Yeah. I mean, I think you got to bet Larson because I think he's the driver who has the best opportunity to screw Chastain and Reddick.
Yeah.
And just hope that Chastain or Reddick are the ones that do it so that you get more money off of what you put into it. Obviously, if Larson wins, you're betting 3 drivers, so you're not going to win, but close to a unit.
Now, this is something. Do you think that you're going to have to bet pre-race? Do you expect the 3 of them? Well, you expect Chastain to struggle a little bit. How do you think Elliott and Larson?
I think, again, like if we're wanting to bet this now, we would bet Larson now and Reddick now. Because I think those are the 2 numbers that are going to change. But then again, all right, Chase hasn't been that great of a qualifier either, and he's been even worse in practice. But he's come through and had some decent qualifying, representation here recently. Like if he goes out and let's say he qualifies, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, Larson will be, probably the betting favorite. That's why I say we got to bet Larson now. But I think
what worries me about Elliott?
that possibly could drag Chastain's 500 down too.
What worries me always about Elliott is if he qualifies well, that fucking car only gets better through the race every single week.
Right.
So that worries me. I hope he doesn't qualify well. I hope he's in the dumpster.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like with Elliott, like he hasn't done great at any of these comp tracks, from a speed perspective. But that was 9 weeks ago at minimum to the beginning of the year. And what we've seen him do here recently, he was fast at Pocono. He was fast at Atlanta. So, he could.
He's the one car I'm worried about. The one car I'm worried about not on our list to win is Chase Elliott.
Right. But I'm not betting him at 6.5 or 6 to 1.
I don't disagree. Did you see anything in Top Ford? They have Blaney such a heavy favorite.
Hold on. What are we doing with Chevy? You think we have to bet all three of them tonight?
I think I probably will, and you'll probably wait because of Chastain.
But did you not hear what I said about Chastain? Like I think that if Elliott qualifies bad, I think that could bring Chastain's number down.
And Reddick.
Right. Well, I think if Reddick qualifies top 10, that number is going to go to 500 at minimum.
Yeah, I agree.
No matter what Chase Elliott does.
Yeah, I'm fine with bet. I think that the right move is to probably bet all three of them tonight. Yeah.
Now, do you think there's a chance that Eric Jones, there's a wrinkle? You worried about him at all, or do you really think it's those two? I mean, we're not betting. We're not betting making bets based upon us anticipating wrecks. Obviously, you can't do that.
I think that if you take a look at the speed charts of every track that we remotely spoke about in terms of comps, the only place that he was really good at was Auto Club. So part of me thinks that maybe he doesn't race as well as people think that he will.
You're talking about Elliott?
No, you asked me about Eric Jones.
Oh, Eric Jones, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, the only place that he was like lights out fast was Auto Club, not Charlotte, Kansas, Pocono, Texas, Phoenix. Like none of those tracks at all. So I'm not really that worried about Eric Jones the more I think about it.
Okay. So those are the three that we're on Chevy. So I have thoughts on – what are your thoughts on Ford? And I'll tell you what my thoughts are.
Well, my first thought is they have Ryan Blaney's number so low that it's making these numbers appealing. Now, I don't necessarily know who's going to be the best of the worst if we expect Ford to be probably the worst manufacturer on the track on Sunday, but it makes you want to take a couple shots and just fade Blaney, doesn't it?
Yeah, but then on the other end, I think you're hoping for something to happen to Blaney because Blaney has been that much faster than all of these Fords on these tracks, even during the race.
Yeah,
like Blaney's the only one that has shown that he can stick in the top 10.
You know who's not that far behind though, Coop? Austin Cindric.
Yeah, I think he's had mid-teen finishes, but I think you're hoping for something.
I'm just looking at I'm not looking at the finishes. I'm just looking at the speed charts. Right. Like Cindric is right there with him most of the time.
But if you look at how he raced
Yeah,
the
yeah,
actual race,
right.
Cindric isn't close to Blaney.
Yeah,
Like I had the same thought at the beginning of the week, but then the more I thought about it, was like I'm just hoping something happens to Blaney, and that's just not smart way to bet. Hoping that something happens to somebody, because if nothing happens, I think if we race this race 10 times, he's probably the top 4, 6 to 7.
I don't just. So, what are you thinking? You're thinking the complete opposite, to only take Ryan Blaney.
I'm thinking I don't want to deal with it. Move on.
Yeah. There's nothing here that I mean, Austin Cindric at 10-1 is kind of interesting, but aside from that, I don't really see anything. Top Toyota.
I guess that's why I think like the price on Chastain is so crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
He shouldn't be 500.
He shouldn't be 10-1 to win this race based on what we've seen this year. I agree.
So
What about Top Toyota? I mean, and Chris Bell should not be 5.5-1 in this group. That is absurd. He has as good of a chance as Kyle Busch to win this race, literally, and Denny Hamlin. Why is he 5.5-1 and they're 2.5-1?
because of their name.
Bubba's 7.5-1 now, and Ty Gibbs 20-1. So, what's your thoughts here?
Like, I can't bet Truex, so he's out. Like, Bubba, I don't think he's like the top Toyota, you know? Like, I think he's closed the gap on these types of tracks versus what he was prior. But I just find it hard to believe. Again, you know, it's Busch, Hamlin, and Bell. And, like, again, I just don't know how often Bell would beat the two of them. So it's probably a stay away from me.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I kind of think here's how I look at it, Coop. There's a legitimate chance that Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin are in the top 5 this week. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, Chris Bell's 2-1. He's 2-1 to be in the top 5. He's 5.5-1 to be top Toyota. Those numbers don't correlate when you consider that half this group could very well be in the top 5. Don't you agree?
It wouldn't surprise me if they finished 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, you know, I think you're going to be sweating the race the whole time on 3 cars that are probably pretty good. And I think I would rather bet them to win versus be the top Toyota.
Okay, that's fair.
Because the numbers are better than that.
That's fair.
Like, right. I think I would feel more comfortable having them in my pocket to win than me wanting to say, you know, oh, I hope, you know, Denny or Chris win, so I can get
I don't disagree. Yeah, the Bell number is a no-brainer for sure. You know, the more we talk this out, right? You know, another car that's going to qualify well, and that number is going to be completely gone. Tyler Reddick. What's the best number that you see on Reddick right now? 14-1. That number.
No.
That number.
No. That must be a bet 365 number.
Well, he's 12-1 at DK. What is he at FanDuel?
I thought he was 10.
No. He's 12-1 at FanDuel. I mean, that number is he qualifies in the front 2 rows. That number's gone. Like that's another that's one of now like you and I always talk about, you can't bet everybody. You have to take a stand. But that's one of the guys I'm going to worry about, because if we do have to get on him, by the time we do, that number is just ghost. But all right, so looking at the matchups, did you see anything that you liked? Oh, hang on, Coop left. Is anybody still watching this show? YouTube doesn't even know this channel existed. We just woke up from a 2-year nap. We're going to build this channel, though, boys. Still excited to do content at Rumpure, but we're going to build this channel. Hey, Coop refilling that Diet Pepsi. Dr. Pepper. Get it right. It was always Dr. Pepper. That's Coop's go-to drink. Diet Pepsi.
I didn't think you wanted to hear me piss, so go ahead.
No, well, I've heard it before, but no, I was completely fine with not hearing it tonight. People thought you were refilling up your Diet Pepsi. I said it's only Dr. Pepper. It's always Dr. Pepper.
All right, so we're on head-to-heads. There's 2 that stick out. Have you looked through all these?
I'm looking at them for the first time right now, but I mean, Kyle Larson at plus 105 against Chase Elliott. That's not a bad number.
Whoa.
What?
Hold on.
Kyle.
That happens to be one I was eyeing, and we can get a better number. How about 120?
Plus 120, where at BetMGM?
FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad number, considering it's scary to go up against Chase Elliott.
It is. But I think Larson can match him.
Yeah, I do too.
But again, it wouldn't surprise me if Larson finishes third and Chase finishes second or something like that, But, and if that happens, am I going to be pissed off that he lost? No. I mean, it was a good bet. I mean, they both were really good cars. I mean, come on.
So there's a couple more I'm looking at that I think that you could potentially have interest in. Well, Kevin Harvick, Logano, I know you have no interest. Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain. Chastain is even money, but we expect Denny to be strong. So I'm going to guess that that's not what you like. Is that what you like?
No, that's not what I like.
Okay. Moving on, Ryan Blaney, Will Byron. I have no opinion there. Will Byron, Marty, no opinion there. Reddick plus 105 against Denny Hamlin. I mean, I think we both expect Reddick to be strong, but we expect Denny to be strong also, and plus 105 isn't that big of an edge. So I'm going to assume that you don't like that.
Because, I mean, I like the Larson because of the 120. I don't think I would bet Larson at whatever it was on DK. You said 105.
Right. Tyler Reddick minus 115 against Byron. Suarez minus 130 against Bubba plus 110. This could potentially be the one that you like, probably, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you look at it, if you keep looking down, like Bubba Wallace is minus 110 against Eric Jones. They're both minus 110.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're giving Bubba some disrespect in the matchups. I like the Bubba over Suarez. Again, Suarez could beat him by a spot. But I think Bubba, has shown he's going to have around a top 10 car. And I think Suarez is probably right around that piece too. and I'll take the plus money because I think it's a fairly even matchup.
I don't disagree. I could dig it. Aside from that, I don't see anything that I like there. Group winners. Elliott in Group A. Elliott plus 240, Larson 270, Kyle 2. I mean, that's hard. All three of those guys could potentially win that group, don't you think?
Yes.
Group B, Chastain, Reddick, Byron, and Blaney. Now, I think that Ross Chastain and Tyler Reddick are pretty easily the two best cars in that group. What do you think?
I think that, like, if we were betting this earlier in the year, I think we might have said something different.
I don't disagree, but the year has happened, my friend.
So to me, like, from a speed perspective, like, I don't think Byron and Blaney are like that much worse, from speed. Blaney's problem is he's that much worse when he gets around other cars.
And results. They just don't have the results.
Right. I think my issue with that is taking two of them. Like, you're putting a lot in for a little bit of return.
You're scraping a little over a unit if you get one of those two guys home. Yeah, I don't disagree there. Group C, Marty, Bell, Logano, and Bowman. I think I would just take my shot on Bell alone at plus 220 against these three. What do you think?
Yeah, that's how I would attack it.
Yep.
Does that interest you?
Yeah, because like now let's think about.
I think look at this. All right, this is my thought process. I would rather shoot my wad on Chris Bell beating these three drivers at plus 220.
They get the same price for them.
They get the same price for a top five.
Totally
agree. He doesn't have to get a top five to beat these three drivers. So that's my thought process on that.
Totally agree with that. He's 2-1 to hit the top five, and to do that, you got to be among the best. But we can get him here at plus 220 to beat Marty, Logano, and Bowman. Sign me up.
Yeah,
so like that. That's a bet, definitely.
All right, hold on a minute. Let me look at FanDuel because I think they have it. Same price, 220. Same drivers. Move on.
All right, so that's the end of the groups. I think that's really it.
Whoa! There's one more group.
Is there? Oh, Kevin Harvick. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Bubba Wallace, love incoming. Bubba plus 270 against Harvick, Suarez, and Jones. That's what you're betting?
No. But so my thought was, all right, like, I can't make this bet because of Eric Jones. All right. Because I could see Eric Jones beating Suarez or Bubba. But my initial thought was, hey, if I take Bubba in the head-to-head, I win a unit, basically a little bit more. But then if I take both of them, like, in this group, I could have a good one. And if I lose the head-to-head, I'm still going to come out good here to make up for it. But I can't do it with Eric Jones.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Makes sense to you?
Yep, that makes sense to me. All right, so if we were going to review our official bets that Coop and I...
Hold on, did you want to talk about driver to win the pole position? Or do you,
Oh yeah. Well, we kind of did. So
we kind of did.
I bet Chris Bell at 12-1 to win the pole for the first time because I think he won the pole at Kansas and one other comp. He's consistently in the top 3 rows in qualifying. So I took my shot on him at 12-1. You did not hate it at all. It's 10-1 now on DK. I know that you had said Ty Gibbs might be worth the sprinkle at 40 or 50-1, depending on what you can get on him. But outside of that, was there anybody else that you liked?
I mean, I think I would have to go Larson, Bell, and Cindric, and pray that one of the 3 of them win. But I mean, again, it wouldn't surprise me if Kyle Busch or Denny Hamlin or Tyler Reddick won.
Yeah, see, you went Larson, Bell, and who? Like the 3 guys that, yeah. See, the 3 guys that I thought about was Bell, Kyle Busch, and Tyler Reddick.
Bell, Busch, and Reddick.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was. Reddick's 12-1, Busch is 6-1, and Bell is 10-1.
I don't have any issues with any one of them drivers.
Right.
It's just basically the 3 that I chose were because of the numbers that they've shown this year.
Did you end up betting those 3?
I have not yet.
Are you going to?
I don't know.
I took my half unit shot on Bell, and I'm fine. If it goes down, it goes down. I'm not going to be 3 units deep on the pole before we get to the race. I can tell you that. But all right, wait. Before we go though, let's talk about. Did you see what the fuel window was?
I have not seen that yet.
I didn't see it either. And I didn't see the stages yet either.
Those I saw. I don't know. I don't recall them
though. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. To review the bets that we do like though, we'll get.
Do you have any interest in any of these top 3s?
No.
No. Okay.
I'd rather bet them to win. The price isn't good enough. All right, so we're on Group C. Chris Bell to win Group C at plus 220. We are on Kyle Larson plus 380, Ross Chastain 5-1, and Tyler Reddick 6.5-1 to be the top Chevy. I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on Toyota winning manufacturer plus 185. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. Coop, you are going to do that?
Yes.
All right, so Coop is going to be on top Toyota. I might join him by Sunday but before practice and qualifying. I might join him. I haven't decided, though. But that Toyota wins plus 185. And then weekly specials, top Toyota or Toyota finishes 1-2 plus 550 on DraftKings. We're on that. And then in terms of outrights, we're definitely on Bell at 15-1.
I think. Hold on. I think you can get him at 16. Hold on.
Where?
Hold on.
Let me see what Bet 365 is.
Whoa.
He's 14-1 at Bet 365.
You give it 16 on MGM.
All right, so we're on Bell at 16.
You know what Chastain is? I shouldn't say this.
What?
Say this. I shouldn't say this.
What?
You know what Chastain is at MGM?
8-1.
7.5.
Yeah, I'm on Chastain at 10-1 pre-race. I don't know if Coop is, but Keg is on Chastain at 10-1 pre-race. And I'm on Kyle Busch at 8-1 at Bet365.
Damn, man.
Yes, please and thank you. I will ride out those 3 drivers into the sunset. Coop's going to be on the same 3. Don't let him bullshit you. He's going to be on Chastain before it's all said and done. And
I'll definitely be on him before it's all said and done. I just hope to get a 12-1.
And I'm going to sprinkle Coop's Ty Gibbs call at 40 or 50-1, whatever. Oh my God, Coop, he's 20-1. No, he is 20-1 to win the race on Bet365.
Oh, I thought you were going to say DK.
Holy Christ. How about that respect? From the softest book on the planet. How about that respect? You love to see it.
What do they have to Ross at?
Ross is 10-1.
Okay. Damn, I need that book.
Corey said, any thoughts on Xfinity for tomorrow? Yeah, we have thoughts.
Real quick, I have one thought.
Junior Motorsport is fucking fast. That's my handicap, Coop, on this race. Junior Motorsports is fast.
So
Josh
I'm kind of
a ton of respect.
Yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt that I already didn't bet Josh Berry because I could have got him at 5. I don't think 5.5. I saw earlier this week. I think 5 was the best number. Maybe 5.5 at FanDuel. I don't know. But anyways, he's down to 450 on DK, and I think he's actually the betting favorite now.
He's plus
420 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm gonna shop around. Him and Noah. You know what? All fairness to Noah Gragson and Justin Allgaier, all 3 of them have been rocket ships this year. But I do think that Josh Berry has been the fastest. I remember days when me and you used to get Josh Berry at 10-1, Coop. Remember those days?
Do you remember last year, the whole race, man? You know, I forget what race it was, but it was a tire race. And you're like, Josh Berry, he's like 8 seconds behind. I'm fucking betting him because he's fucking coming, man. Yeah. And it was like 30-1 or something like that.
Josh Berry season was born.
Yeah, it was.
So what do you think? I mean, they're putting you in a position where they want you to take a stand on one guy.
Right. That's really hard because of Ty Gibbs. And I know what you're going to say about Ty.
I like him. Don't get me wrong. I think he's really talented.
Yeah, I know, but I thought you would say like the card just hasn't been the same.
It hasn't been as good. Not as good as Junior Motorsports this year, I don't think. Do you?
I don't disagree. But I mean, again, like, you know, one little slip up from Noah and he passes Noah, and we lose that 9-1 Noah ticket a couple weeks ago.
True. See, like Xfinity, I'm more apt to take a shot on getting somebody inside the top 3. Like Josh Berry's plus 125 to be in the top 3. Like if he runs clean, how is he not in the top 3 tomorrow?
Where's that at? I got 110
DK.
on DK. I got 110.
He's 4.5-1 to win the race. They got 4 drivers at 4.5-1. Gibbs, Gragson, Allgaier, Berry. They nailed it. I mean, that's about right.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, last week they had 5 drivers or 6 drivers at 4-1 at the beginning of the race. So,
what do you think of Sam there?
See, that's the thing. I mean, Sam could be there. You know, he's knocking on the door, waiting for it. You know, And to be quite honest with you, Sammy Smith was really, really good in his first race on these big tracks. He just had some issues, I think, at the end that took him out. I think he was running like 6th, 7th, and 8th or something like that. And that car's good too. But yeah. I don't know, man. It's so tough because, again, like if my whole thought was Noah and Josh Berry at the beginning of the week.
Right.
And then, hoping that Ty doesn't screw it up, or Justin Allgaier.
These numbers, like, I think we're going to have to hope for, like, midway through the race for the guys that we actually like to not be in the front, because these numbers are going to be laughable by the time we are 1/3 of the way through the race.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever's in first and second, the number's going to be a joke.
Do you have any interest in betting Noah and Josh?
I don't know. Like at 4.5 to 1, it leaves you basically not much room for error at all. What do you think? I kind of think if you're going to bet the race, you have to bet it pre-race because the numbers you're going to get live are going to be awful.
Right, but then you're just shooting your shot, hoping you hit the right one of the 4.
True, which is tough to do. But if we
think about it
Noah,
like
7-8 to 1 live, Josh Berry 7-8 to 1 live, because maybe things aren't going right at the beginning of the race. I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, I guess what we're hoping for, like after practice and qualifying, they're all not going to be 450. One of them's going to go to 550 or 6.
I don't know who that is, but Josh Berry has shown himself to be really, really good in qualifying lately.
But I feel like it's kind of like today, man. Like I went to get a new price on my tires, man. I got to get some new tires for my car, man. And the guy told me I could have it would cost me $120 for roadside thing, where if one of them got a flat, it was free, to get a new tire.
AAA, like AAA.
Well, no. Like if I got a flat, I wouldn't have to pay for the tire.
Oh, okay.
Again,
yeah.
For the first 3 years. And I was like, man, $120. I said, like more than likely, like not all 4 of them are going to go bad. Can I just, have it on one of the tires? And the guy looked at me and said, sure. Tell me which one.
That's hard to do.
Right, exactly. And that's what we're doing here.
So what are you going to do?
Like, any inclination, like, off the top of your head, which one's qualified the best this year?
I would say Josh Berry and Gragson off the top of my head, especially lately. I mean, Berry just got the pole a week or 2 ago.
Yeah, but I mean, doesn't matter. I mean, it's one lap again.
Yeah. But I mean, Junior Motorsports has been wicked fast.
Oh, don't disagree, man.
Yeah, we both expect them to be really, really good. Do you think Dinger has anything for them tomorrow?
He could. He's a scary one out there who could.
He's got a good
his issue his issue the whole year. I mean, he won this race last year. Is he just hasn't had the speed, and the speed's getting a little bit better. He says every week, but yeah, I don't know.
They're showing
like
him.
You said,
he's 8
it's
to
1.
Like
you said. I mean, if we don't bet one now, we're going to lose out.
At least on somebody.
And then, like you said, because like if one of these 4 win, what do you think they go to? 350, the pole. They can't take them below 300.
No, you know what I think would happen? They would probably make the favorite at 4 to 1 and then fan them out from there.
So, and I guess the question to you is 50 cents, if that's what you think, worth us taking
Because,
a
like,
shot?
how low can you go? Like, nobody is going to bet one of these guys at plus 350 when 4 people could win. Like, I don't
Right.
like, or at least smart people aren't going to do that, right?
Right. So,
So,
at 50 cents, do you think it's worth our shot at taking a stab at one of them, or do you think
yeah,
it's just
I
you're
think that
waiting?
I think we should take either Graxon or Josh Berry pre-race at 4.5 to 1. Hopefully we're right. And then we'll at least we'll have room from there. And I think it's Josh Berry.
See, I'm
You always think it's Noah Coop.
I do.
Noah. But you know what? To be fair, I mean he has been phenomenal. So I mean,
Noah's been exceptional on it. I was the first bet I actually looked at was what would Noah be top five, because that's how I did it. The last race he was when he was 9 to 1. I bet him at top five plus 100, 120, something like that
Caesars
to
has
cover him if he
Berry.
didn't win.
Caesars has Berry at 5 to 1. Corey said that's not bad. That's actually not bad. What does Caesars have Noah Graxon, Corey? I kind of feel like it's flip a coin. Go in with one of them. I think they're both going to be really, really good. I mean, if Berry is really 5 to 1 at Caesars, I don't mind. Oh, so they have Graxon at 4 to 1. So yeah, I mean, anybody that could bet at Caesars, I don't mind that, taking your shot on Berry at 5 to 1, and then hoping that you're on one of the 2 fastest cars in the race, and from there you bet live. Gibbs is the favorite at 3.5 to 1. Allgaier's 4 to 1 at Caesars. Jesus Christ! Before qualifying. That's crazy.
What's Barstool?
One of the boys in the chat will let us know. Wow, they got Gibbs at 3.5 to 1, huh?
Yeah, they're all 4 to 450 on Barstool. Oh, you can get Ross at 11 on Barstool to win.
To win?
Yeah.
Coop, how is that not good enough? That's good enough, man. 11 to 1. I'm going there right now.
See, that's more of my problem. I got to become unloyal to these 3 books that I'm on, and
Yeah, Coop,
books,
Coop, you need 6 outs, 5, 6 outs.
I know. That's my weak link right now. My loyalty.
Yeah, you'll it's always good to have a little money where you could just catch a rogue line. I'm like you though. Primarily, I have money in 3 books, but then there's 3 or 4 books that there's emergency money in if I got to catch a rogue line. That's basically how I do it. So yeah, Chastain at 11 to 1. That's great. I'm gonna go to Barstool and bet that there. So I don't know. What do you think, Coop? Like if you said Graxon, I would be like, okay. If you said Berry, I would say the same.
I mean, like this is what I like. My thought process is like when I think of power, I think of Noah Graxon. When I think of managing tires, I think of Allgaier and Berry. This isn't a manage the tire race. This is a freaking power race.
Right.
And I don't think it's like in the opposite respect. Like I don't think Berry and Allgaier are that much slower than Allgaier. And I don't think Graxon's that much worse on old tires than them. Although I probably think he's the gap between him on older tires is a little farther than what they are on speed behind him, in my mind.
I don't necessarily disagree with that take.
So Because I think they have more power than what he runs better on older tires.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I mean, for me, I would have Noah's my man. I mean,
Are
it's
you
not
going,
that I just.
are you going to pull the trigger on him though, pre-race and ride with him? I'll ride with you. Because I really do think it's a coin flip, like literally flip a coin, him or Berry, I think. So, I mean, I'm fine with either.
But you don't want to take both?
I mean, I don't mind 5-1 at Caesars and 4.5 to 1. That doesn't give us a ton of wiggle room, though, if they shit the bed on us. I'll say that.
Doesn't. Let me think about it for a little bit.
All right, boys. We're out tomorrow at 3:00. I'll be live for Kegcast subscribers on September 1st. The show will be back on this YouTube channel and free. Saturday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, like 1 o'clock, I'll throw up a UFC vid.
Are you twitching, man? There's something wrong. You're like going like this. You're twitching. Something
what
wrong.
am I doing? No, I'm
I
good.
don't know. You were twitching your hand, man, like something was wrong, like you were nervous or something.
No, I'm good. I'm gonna put up a video on Run Pure Bets for UFC Fight Night early tomorrow, and then Sunday, Coop and I will be live at 11 a.m. for the, I guess, post practice and qualifying show over at Run Pure Bets at 11 a.m. And then at 1 o'clock, Coop will be breaking down the DFS, and I'll be talking some bets over on Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. So it's going to be a busy weekend. I'm happy that we kicked it off this week. Finally got content on this.
As he goes dead,
channel.
Man,
it's going to be
his own channel.
Responsibly. We're out.
Say that again, man. You were in and out, man.
Crush responsibly.
Okay.
Good night.